Israel, the self-declared protector of the Jewish people worldwide, has bombed a Jewish synagogue in Tehran. Iran is home to the second largest Jewish population in West Asia. The Rafi Niya Synagogue, near Palestine Square, is now rubble. Some lines, once crossed, cannot be explained away. This one will take some time. As the conflict between Iran and the US-Israeli coalition enters another brutal chapter, the lines between military and civilian targets appear to be dissolving. In a development that has drawn immediate international attention, a Jewish synagogue in the heart of Tehran was reportedly struck today. Semi-official Iranian news agency Mehr reports that the Rafi Niya Synagogue, located near Palestine Square in central Tehran, sustained heavy damage after being targeted by what Iran says was an Israeli airstrike. Rescue crews have been deployed to the area, but the full extent of casualties remains unclear. The Israeli Defense Forces offered no immediate comment on the strike. The targeting of a Jewish house of worship by Israel, a state that identifies itself as the protector of the Jewish people worldwide, has prompted sharp condemnation within Iran. One reporter at the scene put it bluntly.
سلام 18 فروردین 1405 هست در مرکز تهران هستیم، جایی که یک منطقه مسکونی هدف حمله صهیونیست آمریکایی قرار گرفته. اما نکته‌ای که حائز اهمیت هست که ساختمانی که الان پشت سر من مشاهده می‌کنید در مجاورتش یک کنیسه بوده که هدف حمله موشکی دشمن قرار گرفته و همونطور که می‌بینید کاملا تخریب شده. الان نیروهای امدادی در حال حاضر اینجا هستند و در حال جستجوی آوار هستند. ساختمان‌های اطراف اینجا چون کوچه بنبستی هست، در مجاورتش ساختمان‌هایی که وجود داشته نماشون و داخلشون آسیب شدیدی دیدن. رژیم صهیونیستی خودش رو یه دولت یهودی میدونه، با حمله به این مکان نشون داد که مشکلش با تمام مردم ایرانه و یهودی و مسلمان براش فرق نمی‌کنه.
Iran is home to the second largest Jewish population in West Asia. Tehran has long pointed to its Jewish community as evidence of the distinction it draws between Judaism and Zionism, a distinction it says Israel itself has now violated. The synagogue was not the only civilian site reportedly hit. A residential building in Tehran was also brought down in a separate airstrike. Iran's Red Crescent rushed to the scene, with rescue workers pulling survivors from the rubble. The scenes broadcast across Iranian state media show a city increasingly bearing the mark of war on its civilian infrastructure. Iran's Khatam al-Anbiya military headquarters says its forces have not stood idle. The IRGC Navy reports striking the Israeli container ship SDN-7, triggering a massive fire on board. Separately, a US amphibious assault vessel was said to have been forced to retreat deep into the Indian Ocean following Iranian pressure.
The IRGC's naval and aerospace forces, following the announcements containing the warning of the Khatam al-Anbiya Central Headquarters, have organized their offensive operations against American and Zionist command, operational, logistical, and industrial military infrastructures. In the first part of this operation this morning, the IRGC's naval fighters targeted the SDN-7 container ship belonging to the Zionist regime with a cruise missile which caught fire after being destroyed.
Precision missile strikes, according to Iranian military statements, hit major Israeli cities, including Tel Aviv, alongside key military and industrial installations.
North and south of Tel Aviv, strategic centers in Haifa, chemical companies and factories in Beersheba, and the gathering place of the Zionist military in Petach Tikva were precisely hit by ballistic missiles of the IRGC's aerospace zealots.
Iranian forces also claim to have struck a joint Israeli drone facility in the UAE and targeted US bases in Kuwait and Baghdad. Arash-2 drones reportedly hit US operational hubs at Al-Kaj and Al-Adairi.
In another part of the offensive operations, the joint production center of the Zionist regime's drones in the Emirates and a number of aircraft based at the Ali al-Salem base were precisely hit by drones and missiles. In the second stage of the Wave of 98, the American Al-Adiri base in Kuwait was attacked by missile and drone attacks by the IRGC's aerospace force. And following this action, the helicopter storage area and the accommodation of the invading forces of the American terrorist army were destroyed. The gathering and control centers of the American Victoria base in Baghdad were effectively targeted by the successful and powerful operations of the Islamic resistance in Iraq. In a precise and planned operation, the brave men of the Islamic Republic of Iran's army, using destructive drones, subjected the American terrorists' Al-Kharj base and Al-Adiri camp to the blows of the Arash-2 destructive drones in the past hours.
A synagogue reduced to rubble, an apartment block collapsed, ships burning at sea. Both sides invoke God, both sides speak of justice. And yet, it is civilians on all sides who are paying the price. Iran's war on Israel entered another brutal chapter on April 5th, when a ballistic missile tore through a residential building in Haifa. By the following morning, rescue teams had pulled 2 bodies from the rubble, with 2 more people still unaccounted for. The Fire and Rescue Service and IDF Homefront Command worked through the night. Among the survivors was an 82-year-old man in serious condition, along with 3 others with lighter injuries. The building was at serious risk of collapse, and surrounding structures were evacuated after officials raised the possibility that the missile's warhead had not fully detonated on impact. Israel Police Commissioner Danny Levy told reporters at the scene that teams were deploying every available resource.
We are focusing all efforts on the 4 who are supposed to be here, using all means at our disposal. The warhead of the ballistic missile that struck the residential building may not have exploded upon impact, and therefore we evacuated several buildings, so that in the unlikely case that the missile explodes, nobody will be hurt.
The Israeli Air Force acknowledged it had failed to intercept the missile and opened an investigation into the air defense failure. On April 6th, Haifa was struck again, this time by cluster munitions that sparked a car fire and wounded 4 people, including 2 young girls treated for smoke inhalation. On the northern front, Hezbollah has been firing hundreds of rockets daily since joining the war last month. 6 people were wounded in a rocket attack on Deir al-Assad. The group has also fired more than 165 rockets at UN positions in southern Lebanon, killing 3 Indonesian UNIFIL troops in recent weeks. IDF Chief of Staff Eyal Zamir visited troops at the border and vowed the military would not withdraw until the threat was removed.
Regarding the war objectives at this time in Lebanon, the IDF is establishing a forward defensive line to strengthen defense and push the threat away from northern communities. We will remain on this line as long as required.
Meanwhile, Iran was fighting on several other fronts. The IRGC claimed its forces struck targets near the Mohammed Al Ahmad naval base in Kuwait and a US command facility in the UAE, saying the combined operations had killed or wounded 25 people in the 97th wave of Operation True Promise 4. An Israeli commercial vessel was also reported being on fire after being hit by a cruise missile at Jebel Ali port in the UAE. However, these claims could not be independently verified. Tehran has also been restricting passage through the Strait of Hormuz since late February, requiring vessels to seek IRGC authorization before transit. The Corps warned that what has happened so far is only a portion of its planned response.